Hello friends, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome on the YouTube channel of BYJU'S Exam Prep. I am Gaurav Gupta and once again I'm in front of you on the YouTube channel of BYJU'S Exam Prep to help all of you to prepare for CAT 2022. And today in this session, I'll be telling you the 90 days master plan to ace the LRDI section. Yes, my dear friends. So first of all, those who are already there in this session, welcome all of you. Good afternoon. And can you please quickly confirm if I am audible and visible to all of you? Come on, can you please quickly confirm if I am audible and visible to all of you? So you just need to write yes in the chat box if I am clearly audible and visible. All right. So Apurva, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I can see your message. Yes. All right. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Apurva, for confirming. Uh, Vasantala, Harsh, thank you. Sambhavi, welcome. Welcome all of you. Okay. So friends, in this session, I'll be basically decoding LRDI section. We'll not be solving questions, but definitely a lot of us must be looking for some of the plan so that we can ace this LRDI section. Now, LRDI section, definitely, I can say that it is one of the toughest section of CAT. Yes. So the students, the aspirants who are planning to take MBA entrance examination this year, they have very limited amount of time left for them. So I'll be giving them the 90-day master plan in order to basically prepare this particular section. No matter at what stage they are on in their preparation, but definitely this master plan is going to help them. Also, all those aspirants who are planning to take their MBA entrance examinations the next year, this session will also be helpful for them because this session will help them basically to start their preparation, to basically give a proper direction to their preparation from the beginning, and doing that will help them in scoring an edge over other students. Yes, so if you can start your preparation, you are taking the examination the next year or maybe in 2024, no matter the year in which you are starting, you are taking your examination. But what you can do is you can start thinking about some of the important areas, some of the important topics of LRDI from right now, so that this particular section will not create a big problem for you in the future. Yes, so those students who are taking this examination this year, they will agree with me if I'll say that at the beginning of our preparation, we think that LRDI section is one of the easiest section. Yes, so they think that our logical concepts are sound. Yes, we have done different types of topics in logical reasoning and data interpretation, and this section can be taken care of by studying, by devoting less amount of time to this particular section. But this is not true. So some of you will realize when you will start taking mock papers that this can be taken as one of the difficult sections out of the other three sections in CAT. Yes. So what happens in LRDI? We basically need a good amount of practice. We need the knowledge of all the areas that are there in LRDI, and we need to keep continuing with the practice like this. We need to gain momentum in LRDI, and once we have gained the momentum, we will be able to solve at least, I can say, 60-70% of the questions in a particular section in a particular examination. But if we'll stop practicing and if we lose this momentum, then it will be very difficult to gain this expertise on LRDI section once again. All right, so those who still have more than 1 year, those who are preparing for entrance examinations of the next year, listen to this particular fact very carefully. Yes, so Apurva says, yes, this does happen. So Apurva, basically I'm teaching in this area, in this line since last 15-16 years. So I have seen a lot of students making this kind of error, making this kind of mistake, thinking about LRDS section as one of the easiest section of CAT. But actually later on, when test series approaches, so we care we clearly observe this kind of mistake, and at that time it is very late. Now, students who are preparing for this year, actually still they have time to ace, to master this section. Yes, I am serious on this. Yes, they still have time. They have 90 days left for them. So today I'll be telling you basic hygiene factors, basic steps you need to follow in order to, I can say, gain a command over this particular section. All right. So let's quickly start this one. Now, first of all, I'll quickly go through, like in the next 2-3 minutes, I'll quickly go through the pattern of CAT in the last year. Okay, and what can we expect out of the pattern of CAT this year? Also, we'll be talking about some of the important areas of LRDI section, so that you start brushing up the concepts of those areas. Also, their weightage, we'll be shortlisting a few areas, and we'll also look at their weightage as compared to the last 4 or 5 years of CAT papers. So are these areas important? Should we spend time on these areas? We'll get to know about that. So talking about CAT 2021 pattern, the total number of questions were 66, that we all know came in the last year's CAT paper. All right. Out of these 66 questions, 48 were MCQs and 18 were Theta type questions. Okay. Type in the answer where you will have to type your answer. Right. Now, today in this session, we'll be talking about only LRDI section. So last year, there were 20 questions in total from LRDI section. The number of questions reduced from 2020. All right. So last year, 20 questions were there, out of which 15 questions were MCQs, out of which 15 were MCQs and 5 were Theta type question. Now, in case of LRDI, it doesn't matter if the question is MCQ or Theta, right? Because we'll have to find the answer. The options will only help us in getting the approximate value of the answer, right? So options itna zyada supportive nahi hote. Still, if we have options, psychologically we think that we are at an advantage looking at the options, right? Now 40 minutes were given to complete this entire section of DILR, having 20 questions with +3 for every correct, -1 for every wrong, and 0 for any unattempted. In case we'll attempt Theta type question, if it is correct, we'll get +3. If it is wrong, no negative marking will be there for Theta questions. All right. And also nothing for unattempted question. Right. So this was the general pattern. Like this was the pattern of CAT last year. All right. Now what can we expect this year? So talking about only DILR section, right? So we are expecting the questions in total somewhere from 20 to 24. So it can happen, it can go in any direction. So we can have as minimum as 20 questions or a maximum of 24 questions. This is what our thinking is, right? So 20 से 24 questions हो सकते हैं. If I'll talk about DILR section of this year, you can have a glimpse of the expected paper pattern for the other sections as well, right? Now, out of these 20 to 24 questions, expectation is 15 to 18 questions maybe of MCQ type, and the remaining 5 to 6 questions will be of Theta type questions, right? Rest other things are expected to remain same. So if I talk about the sectional time limit, so it will be 40 minutes for +3 for every correct, -1 for every wrong, and 0 for unattempted. Also, in case any Theta question is wrong, then you will not lose any marks in this. Okay, so this is our take. This is the expected paper pattern of CAT 2022. So don't go with any kind of mindset as far as the number of questions or the pattern of the examination is concerned. Be ready for any kind of surprise, and if you are ready for any kind of surprise, you will not be surprised after looking at any random paper pattern in CAT 2022. All right. So don't go with any kind of mindsets, presets, or expectations. Right. Okay. Now moving forward, talking specifically about logical reasoning and data interpretation section, how it has behaved in the last 5 years. So I have closely monitored the last 5 years of LRDI section, starting from 2017 up till 2021, and I have basically categorized these questions in these 6 different areas. Okay, so in the last 5 years, reasoning based DI was at its maximum. So we have seen 10 sets coming from reasoning based DI. Now, after that, scheduling and matrix arrangement, Venn diagram, and matrix and grid. These type of question. Now they look similar. So if I talk about scheduling and matrix arrangement, and matrix and grid. So these type of questions, there were six sets each from these areas in the last 5 years. And Venn diagram, be it a 3-set Venn diagram, be it a 4-set Venn diagram, be it maxima minima of Venn diagram, there were a total of 6 sets in the last 5 years. Okay, so if I'll average it out, then I can say that every year we have seen at least one set of Venn diagram. So we can say that Venn diagram is also an important area, right? Talking about the sixth topic in this list, unconventional and hybrid games and tournaments. So it can be any type of games and tournaments. It can be any type of question related to games and tournaments. It can be a round robin. It can be a knockout round, or they may basically formulate a particular set by themselves, setting up their own rules for that tournament and giving you some questions. Okay, so I have seen a total of 5 sets coming from games and tournaments in the last 5 years. So average it out. One set every year has appeared from games and tournaments. Okay, so these are 6 topics from which I have seen majority of questions coming in the last 5 years. Okay, but if I look at matrix, reasoning based DI, Venn diagrams, and games and tournaments, every year every year it composed of two-third of the LRDI section of CAT. Yes, two-third. So if I talk about, let's say, having 20 questions in LRDI section in CAT, so out of 20 questions you can see somewhere around 13-14 questions coming from these particular areas. So if you'll ace these topics only, then you will be able to attempt at least 10 to 12 questions in CAT in LRDI section, and attempting 10 to 12 questions correctly in LRDI section will definitely take you to 98 to 99 percentile in CAT. Yes, I am serious on this. Okay, so agar out of 20 you can attempt 10 to 12 questions correctly, then definitely your percentile score will be more than 95 percentile, right? So these were the areas that you need to start focusing on. Taking CAT this year, definitely you will have a good amount of idea about these topics. So now what you need to do is you need to uh, like uh, look at the practice material which covers all these areas. You need to practice more and more number of questions of these areas. Taking CAT the next year, so you can start building up these areas slowly. Pick one area. Let's say you picked games and tournaments. So start with very basic level questions of games and tournaments, and then gradually keep increasing your level of difficulty. All right. So this is how you must proceed in case you are taking CAT this year or the next year, right? So these were the areas that we need to focus on. Now, if I look at the score versus percentile for LRDI section in last few years of CAT. So talking about, so I'll keep my focus on the last 2 years, because I can say that the paper pattern for the last 2 years was similar. Earlier in 2019 and 2018, we were given 60 minutes for each section. Okay, then because of the pandemic, the CAT authorities were forced to change the pattern, and each section was of 40 minutes. All right, now this year, the same pattern will be followed. So we'll be given 40 minutes for each section. So let's look at the LRDI section cutoffs, or the target score that we must keep in our mind in order to score different percentiles, or in order to score the percentile that we are targeting. Right now, In the previous slide, just like 2-3 minutes ago, I told you that if you will ace the topics that I have told you, okay, then you will be able to attempt two-thirds of the CAT paper. So if there are 20 questions in CAT, then you will be easily able to attempt 10 to 12 questions. All right. Now with an accuracy of, let's say, 90%, with an accuracy of 90%, let's say you attempted 10 questions and out of which 9 questions are correct. Okay, so you are somewhere around 26 to 27 marks in LRDI section. And let's see where this 26-27 marks will take you if you have taken last year CAT paper. So in both the years, scoring 25 marks in LRDI section has taken you to 95 percentile. So if you have scored 26-27 marks, then definitely your percentile is above 95 percentile. Yes. Okay. Now in case you can manage to attempt 2 or 3 more questions, okay, then you can easily cross 99 percentile. And a student who has effectively 13 to 14 correct, that means a score of somewhere around 40 marks, has scored 99.5 percentile in these 2 years of CAT. All right, so you can target the number of questions accordingly. Don't put yourself under a pressure that you will have to attempt all the questions, you will have to attempt all the sets, right? So let's say if you are strong in reasoning based DI, fine. If you're strong in reasoning based DI, if you're strong in any particular type of question and you see that particular kind of set to be appearing in your CAT examination, then you can select that set and spend 2-3 minutes, evaluate if you'll be able to do that. And then if you think you will be able to do this particular set, finish that set completely. Okay. Ideally, what we can do is, out of 4 sets which will appear in CAT, so if there will be 20 questions, so we are expecting 4 sets, the pattern of the last year, 2 sets of 6 questions and 2 sets of 4 questions each. So if it is based on the last year's pattern, then out of the 4 sets which will appear in your DI section, you can select any 3 of them, all right, and try to finish them. Doing this, you will be able to, at least, like, you'll be able to attempt 12 to 14 questions with an accuracy of 90%. You will be sitting at 95 plus percentile in this particular section. All right. Okay. Now Mohit is asking, does goal score question fall under unconventional type? Yes, Mohit. So these are unconventional type of games and tournaments. So generally conventional type games and tournaments are the questions which are directly related to round robin and knockout. Okay, so they have different rounds in which different teams will participate and they will proceed towards the final round. Okay, now if I talk about the questions which will involve, let's say, a football tournament, and there are matches between different teams, and the teams are ranked based on the goals that they will score. So definitely for a win they are getting some point, for a lose they are losing some points, and finally the difference between the goals, goal for and goal against, will also help them in ranking. Okay, so these type of questions are somewhat of unconventional nature. Okay, sir, if someone starts with LRDI now, can he crack CAT? Now Ankita, uh, like, this is a very random question. Like, I cannot give you a specific answer for this. So it totally depends on the, first of all, the amount of efforts that you will put in, the time that you will spend towards LRDI section. Also, it will depend on your current level of handling these questions, your current knowledge of these type of questions. So if you are an average student, starting now, devoting around 3 hours every day on LRDI section, every day, I mean it. Okay, so starting now for the next 90 days, if you devote 3 hours every day on LRDI section, definitely you can crack this particular section. All right, but if your basics are not at place, then you will require some more amount of time, probably a little more than 3 months, Okay, but definitely whatever stage you are lying at, okay, your basics are not strong, let's say you are an average student, or let's say you are an above average student, definitely if you will spend 3 to 4 hours on LRDI on daily basis, certainly you will have a better score as compared to what you can achieve right now. All right, so start devoting time on LRDI section, and definitely you will do much better than you can score right now. Okay, Disha is saying, sir, I'm facing problems in DI sets and I'm not getting the way to approach DI. Now, Disha, if you are talking specifically about data interpretation, okay, not reasoning based data interpretation, if you are talking about typical DI sets, like we have seen one set of 4 questions the last year. Now, these sets primarily involves heavy calculations. Okay, so these are data interpretation sets and they are based on calculations. So what I'll suggest you, uh, the data is not very complex in these type of sets. So practice some basic data interpretation sets, which involves calculations like percentages, ratios, mixtures, allegations, averages, and so on. Okay. So first of all, have a command over calculations and then get into these sets. Understand the dynamics of pie chart, bar graph, how to pick values from there, how to handle the questions which involve difficult percentage calculations. Okay, then you will be able to ace data interpretation. Okay, so Disha, it's all about practice. So if you think that you are facing problem in data interpretation, then there is only one way you can resolve this problem is by practice. So try to practice four sets of data interpretation every day for the next 10 days. I am sure that if you'll do so, on the 11th day, your level will certainly have improved. Okay, all right. Now, Sian is saying, sir, I'm a bit creative mind. Should I opt for MBA in marketing? Sian, yes, you can go for that. But right now, if you are an aspirant of CAT this year, right now, frankly telling you, it's not the time thinking about the specialization. Once your CAT is over, then try to match your qualities with the different specializations. Read about different specializations, read about the course structure, read about the different subjects that you will get in those specializations, and also the type of job, the sector, the industry, or the companies that offers placements for different specializations. Now, synchronize your area of interest with any of these factors, and then this will help you in deciding the specialization. Also, if you're not sure, then you can start with general MBA and later on choose your specialization during MBA. Ankana says, sir, I'm not able to study because of family issue. Any solution to get out from it and start focusing? Ankana, like this is kind of a personal question. I don't know which kind of family problem you're facing right now, but I cannot help you with that. But certainly I'll tell you to keep your focus towards studies as much as possible. Okay, try to stay away from family matters if you can do so. All right, but if things are pretty close to you, you cannot do anything. So what you must do is, if you want to focus on studies, try to stay away from family matters, try not to think about those, try not to talk to people about those family matters. Okay, so I think now am I audible to all of you? Am I audible? Can all please confirm if I'm audible, and we shall continue with this session. Okay, I believe everything is fine now. Great. So I was answering to Ankana ho gaya tha. Okay, so Mohit, you're solving past year CAT papers. So I will advise you to solve past year CAT papers and reasoning based DI once you are done with all the basics. Okay, so past year CAT papers. like according to the step-by-step suggestions that I give to the students, which I'll be telling you in a few minutes. So it should be done once you are done with all the basic study material as well as the practice sets. Okay. All right, Sian, thank you very much. Shiansh, sir, I'm a graduate in 2021 and I attempted UPSC twice but didn't clear prelims. Can I crack CAT in 3 months and do MBA with gap years? So yes, Shiansh, first of all, yes, you can do MBA if you have a gap year. Secondly, uh, again, you can crack CAT in 3 months, depends on your current level of proficiency. Also the amount of time that you are going to spend for CAT in the next 3 months. All right. Okay. Great. So let's move ahead and look at how LRDI has behaved in the last 5 years. Okay. Now talking about 2017, LRDI had 32 questions. The amount of time given was 1 hour. All right. There were 8 sets of 4 questions each. Now same pattern continued for 2018 as well as 2019. But yes, we certainly know that in 2020 things changed because of pandemic. Now in 2020, 40 minutes were given for LRDI. There were 24 questions, out of which there was 2 sets of 6 questions each and 3 sets of 4 questions each. The number of questions reduced in 2021. The last year there were 40 minutes and 20 questions, 2 sets of 6 questions and 2 sets of 4 questions. Now if I specifically talk about 2021 pattern, then out of these 4 sets, there were 3 sets of reasoning and there was only 1 set of data interpretation. The set of data interpretation was easy, doable, and out of 3 remaining sets, out of those 16 questions, I can say that 2 sets were doable. Not completely, there were 1-2 questions which were difficult in those 2 sets. Okay, so 2 sets were doable and you can easily manage, you could have easily managed 12 to 13 questions in these 40 minutes of LRDI. All right, so 12 to 13 questions, definitely your percentile will be above 90%. Okay. Now what you need to do is you need to maintain your calm and composure while solving a particular DI set. One very important thing is you should not get stuck in any DI set. Okay. Now I'll tell you what mistake that we normally commit. So we start doing a DI set, LRDI set. Okay. Now in the first 2 minutes, you get to know that will you be able to solve this data interpretation or LRDI set or not. Okay, so in these 2 minutes, try to evaluate, are you going to continue with this LRDI set or not? These first 2 minutes are very important. You must take a decision. Now generally what people do is after spending 2 minutes, they think that all right, let's spend 1 more minute and probably will get something out of this data interpretation set. Then after spending a total of 3 minutes, they think that we have already spent 3 minutes. How can we go out of this DI set? How can we leave this LRDI set? Okay. And then they keep continuing, getting stuck in that set, not leaving that set and wasting and ending up wasting 8 to 10 minutes on one set and then coming out. Okay. Now, instead, you must take a decision in the first 2 or 3 minutes. दिल पे थोड़ा सा पत्थर रखो and 2 to 3 minutes come out of this set if you think that you are nowhere in that set. Okay, so this is a very important thing to do, leaving a particular set in case you think that you are nowhere in that set. Okay, so maintain this kind of thing, right? So looking at some of the important topics or areas of LRDI set. Now already the students who are preparing for CAT this year, they would already know what all areas they need to focus, they need to ace. Okay, anyone who is preparing for CAT for next year, these are the areas that you can start with. So set theory and Venn diagrams, one of the most important topics. Game theory, tournaments, we have seen at least one set coming from games theory or tournaments in the last 5 years, right? Data interpretation sets can be of any of these charts: pie charts, bar graphs, tables, spider charts, triangular charts. Yes, we have seen spider and triangular charts coming in the last 5 years as well. Matrix arrangements, productivity based, time based arrangements, selections and distributions, roots and networks, one of the favorite areas of CAT, basic DI caselets, reasoning type caselets, as well as syllogisms. So these are certain areas, these are certain topics you need to start focusing on if you are starting your preparation right now. All right. If you have already started, if you have already covered some distance, then I have already suggested some of the topics at the beginning of this lecture. All right. Okay. Now talking about our preparation, what all study material do we have? We need to understand that. Now, first thing is basic study material having basic sets. So this is from where we should start with. So anyone, like most of us who will be taking CAT examination this year, they are asking me the question in this session only, that can we crack data interpretation in the next 3 months? Okay, so I'll be coming to all of you. I'll be suggesting different strategies to all of you. But first of all, let us gather all the study material. So one kind of study material is the basic study material from where we have to start, which has the basic sets on data interpretation as well as logical reasoning. Okay. Next thing is the topic type, the topic wise test. So let's say we have completed one topic of Venn diagram, of arrangements, of roots and networks. Now we should be taking topic based tests on those topics that we have finished. Then comes sectional tests. So sectional test is a mix of different topics. Definitely it will not cover all the topics because we have plenty of topics, but sectional test is basically a mix of random topics. Okay, that will be that on which you will be tested. After which we have a full length test. Full length test will have all the three sections. Okay, so it will test your adaptivity from one section to another section. So till now we were taking specific sets of LRDI, specific questions of LRDI, specific tests of LRDI, and we started with the mindset that we are setting for LRDI. But full length test will test how you can shift your focus from one set to the another set. All right. Now, once you have started full length test, in parallel to that, you can start with the mock test series of any type. Okay, of any institute. You can join BYJU'S test series as well. All right. Now, in parallel to these mock papers, then you can look at previous year papers. So once you have taken 3 or 4 mock papers, then you can start taking on previous year CAT papers. Also, in case you are exhausted with every material that you have and you still require some more study material, then in that case you can refer some of the books from the famous authors. All right, so this is the study material that you can focus on, you can gather to yourself. Next, looking at some of the very important tips for the students who will be the beginners or the students who have already started their preparation. So I have categorized this in 2 different parts. So first of all, if you are a beginner, so all the students who are watching this session and they are a beginner, okay, and they want to crack CAT in the next 3 months, this is the plan of action for them. So first of all, divide the remaining days in 3 parts, not equally, obviously. So we have 3 months. So the first part will require more amount of time finishing up the basics. So let us divide the next 90 days. Okay, let me help you out. So first of all, we'll have to focus on our basics, right? So basics, focusing on our basics will require most of the time. Okay, so you can devote 40 to 45 days. Yes, half of this time period in building up the basics. Do not leave any topic, do not leave any area, right? Spend one day for every topic. All right, so let's say there are 25 topics in LRDI. Fine. So spend one day each on each and every area, starting from the very basic topics of reasoning. Okay. Now in these 40 to 45 days, you should be finished with the basics, the topic wise test, the practice exercises, which are based on these areas specifically. All right. So I'm not asking you just to build up your basics, but do some practice by solving the practice exercises, solved examples, as well as the topic based test on these topics. Right. This was part number 1. Now part 2 is all sectional test and full length test. So whatever sectional test that you have, whatever further like level 2 practice material you have, you must start picking it up, and in the next 20 days, finish up with all the sectional test and full length test. I'm giving 20 days. This is good amount of time because you need to focus on other 2 sections as well. All right. Now the final part, you can enter into the test series and previous year paper questions. This is the plan for the students who are starting now. Okay, so test series and previous year papers. So let's say for the first 2 parts, you have already exhausted 2 months. All right. So for the last 30 days, you can take a test from the test series every third day. Okay, every third day. So आज अगर एक test दिया है, so for the next 2 days you are not taking any test, you are doing the analysis of that test and improving based on your mistakes that you have committed in that test. All right, so every 3 days you can take one test and also start solving previous year paper questions. All right, make sure that you are devoting at least 3 hours on LRDI section every day, and a total of 8 to 9 hours for the entire CAT preparation if you are a beginner right now and you want to crack CAT. All right. Also, during these days of practice of building up your basics, keep bookmarking the important sets. Okay, so that you will be able to keep a track of all those sets that you will have to revise at the time of revision. Okay, so an occasional revision will also be a good thing to do for this one. Yes, Ankita, yes, you can say that you can go for Anand Sharma, but if you have study material of BYJU'S or any of the institute, then that book might not be required. All right, okay, all right. Now look at the note below. It is extremely important to do a proper analysis of any of the tests that you are taking. So if you are taking a topic based test, if you are taking a practice test or a sectional test or maybe a full length test, or you have entered the test series, it is very important to do a proper analysis of each and every test that you take. All right. So point out your mistakes, make a list of it, and try to work on those mistakes so that you will not repeat these kind of mistakes again. Right. Now, next is if you have already started your preparation and you have covered some distance, that means you have finished the basic study material, you are familiar with different types of questions, you have completed the level 1 and the level 2 of all these type of questions. Okay, then the plan of action for the next 90 days will be, already you must have entered a test series, you must have started with the test series, so continue with any good test series. Okay, finish all the sectional tests and keep solving the full length test at regular intervals. Okay, also in doing so, when we are taking these tests, we encounter different types of questions which we are unable to solve, which are our weak areas. So your weak areas can be from logical reasoning, they can be from data interpretation, it can be anything. So identify these weak areas. They can be four set Venn diagrams, they can be games and tournaments, they can be matrix arrangements, they can be specific type of reasoning type DI. Okay, just identify these areas, and once you have identified any of this area, solve at least 8 to 9 sets on that particular area. So let's say you have identified that a 4 set Venn diagram is your weak area. So make sure that for the next 2 days, you are solving 7 to 8 sets on Venn diagrams. All right. So doing this will definitely plug in those weak areas. Also make sure that you are giving somewhere around 1.5 hours to 2 hours on daily basis in data interpretation. Data interpretation is all about gaining momentum. All right, and momentum can be gained only through practice. So make sure that you are not giving a pause when it comes to the practice of data interpretation. Also, again, the same advice, keep bookmarking the important sets and revise them occasionally. right? Important to do analysis of each and every mock paper, each and every test that you are taking in your life, right? So at the end, I can only say that do not forget that data interpretation and logical reasoning is all about practice and gaining momentum. If you have gained momentum for the next 10 days, then you will be able to do better on 11th day. But giving a gap of 1 week in the practice of data interpretation will take your level back to where you started from. All right. So keep in touch with the questions of data interpretation and logical reasoning. Do practice at least 2 or 3 sets. किसी दिन अगर मन नहीं कर रहा, fine, in 1 day a week you can take a rest from data interpretation, but you must practice LRDI questions for at least 5 days in a week. That will help you in gaining momentum and will help you in scoring a good marks, good percentile in LRDI section of CAT. All right. Now, anyone want to ask any question? I will be there for the next 2 or 3 minutes. You can ask any type of question related to your preparation of CAT, specifically for data interpretation and LR. Ankita says that I'm a final year student and my second year results isn't out yet. What should I do, sir? Ankita, nothing. So you are a final year student. It doesn't matter your final year results are out or not. You are eligible to take CAT. So CAT authorities clearly mentions that anyone who is in pre-final year of their graduation, they are eligible for CAT. So quickly fill the form, quickly fill all these forms and take this exam. Shivam Kathuria is asking where we can get difficult questions for DILR. Now Shivam, if you have enrolled for any of the test series or you are a student of any of the institutes, then the institute itself provides good amount of material as far as difficult questions are concerned. Also at BYJU'S exam prep, we have like on your portal, we have different level of difficulties of DILR questions. All right. So starting from very basic questions, we have increased the level of difficulty of these questions. And if you want to go for the questions which are of level of CAT, then in the mock test series that we have for you, you will find the questions which will match the level of difficulty of what you are going to see in CAT. All right. Okay, so Mohit, sir, currently getting 15 without games and tournaments. Okay, so Mohit, are you asking, are you mentioning 15 marks? So if you're getting 15 marks without games and tournaments, now practicing questions of games and tournaments will definitely take you to a higher score. Okay. Sir, what are the important topics of DLR? Sibani, I have already mentioned about the important topics of DILR at the beginning of this session. So I would recommend you to watch this session once again and you will get the answer for your question. So SNAP or CAT, what should we focus on? Kanak, we should focus on all the examinations because the syllabus for these examinations are more or less same. Okay. Now, preparing for CAT will help you in taking all the other examinations because if I talk about SNAP examination, though the level of difficulty of SNAP is on a lower side as compared to CAT, okay, but preparing for CAT will enable you to take SNAP examination as well. So there is slight difference in the pattern and level of difficulty of questions that you get in SNAP. So once you are done with CAT examination, you must also take SNAP examination. So just before SNAP examination, you must take some of the mock papers, understand the level of difficulty and the pattern of SNAP and adapt yourself with the pattern of SNAP. Similarly, other examination like IFT or ZAT or Narsi Munji, we must take all these examination. They will like taking different examination increases the probability of getting admission in any of these colleges. So if you stick yourself with one of the examination, then you will have to depend on that examination for your admissions. Okay. uh, Atanu Mitra, sir, where could I get this mock and all practice sets in BYJU'S? Is it payable? Yes, yes, Atanu Mitra. You can purchase the mock test series of BYJU'S. So you can visit the website. Okay, you can get the contact number of the counselor. You can call them and enroll for the test series. Disha, sir, from where can we practice games and tournaments questions? So, Disha, once again, you can refer to any of the study materials provided to you by the institutes. Okay. Also, you can purchase books from different authors that will cover this important topic. Right? Okay. So, friends, that is all from my side. Any student who has started his or her preparation for CAT 2022, we have a batch for all of you, CAT 2022 comprehensive program. Now all the details of this program are mentioned on the screen. Study these details carefully and you can enroll for this program. All right, so there are many students who are starting their preparation, so this is one batch at BYJU'S exam prep that they can join and prepare for their CAT 2022 examination, right? So friends, please do like this session, comment, share and subscribe our channel. Now, all the students who are starting their preparation now, they can subscribe to the YouTube channel of BYJU'S Exam Prep, the channel on which you are watching this video. So on your screen, you can see a subscribe button and a bell icon. So subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. And in the next 3 months, we will be conducting a lot of sessions, generic as well as content-based sessions on verbal, logical reasoning, data interpretation, and quant for all the examinations that will be there in this basically in the period of next 3 or 4 months. Okay, so you can stay tuned to the BYJU'S exam prep channel on YouTube and you can watch all these sessions for free. These sessions will definitely be content session as well as generic session. Please do like this session if you think that I'm able to resolve some of your queries. You can follow us on Instagram, subscribe our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, join our Telegram channel, and you can also download our app from Google Play BYJU'S Exam Prep for CAT. You can download this app because you will also find a lot of content sessions, free content sessions on our app. All right. So friends, thank you very much to all of you for being a part of this session. We'll definitely come back to you once again with many such sessions like this. Have a good day. Enjoy.